Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Vikram and that is the all new brand new Hyundai Venue, and this is the key of the car, which is very similar to Krita's key. And this as well has this engine turn on button, but unfortunately I can't show that to you people right now because that feature is disabled on this test car, unfortunately. Coming to the front aspect of the car, we've got this chrome finishing, or rather metallic finishing on the grille, which is very nice, and it's totally revised, totally new. But this particular headlamp is not that new as such. Regular projector setup and cornering headlamp is a halogen DRL, which is of course an LED, and we have this turn indicator placed over above the headlamp, which is a typical Venue's thing. Coming to the side profile of the car, I'll show that to you people from this aspect. It's got massive tires. Tires are not actually massive, but I don't know, because of the design or what, it looks very big indeed. 215/60 are 16-inch wheels with discs in the front, but drums in the rear. That's not that bad as such at this price point. It's kind of acceptable Hyundai Venue driving experience. That's because it's a company's test car. And typical Venue aspect, the C-shaped turn indicators on the ORVMs. And it's a big looking car. It looks kind of big, but it's not that big in reality as such. It's sub 4-meter SUV, but it's a very high sitting car. The ground clearance happens to be 195 mm, which is not the most in its segment. Of course, Nexon is the car with highest ground clearance, somewhere around 209 mm, but this car as well has got more than adequate ground clearance. Coming to the tail aspect of the car, this is where you can differentiate between old and new Venue, right? This strip. Somehow Hyundai is doing this in all their recent cars, especially the Verna. That's a looker, man. In photos, that's totally a different concept for another video. Let's not talk about it today. This is LED, the tail lamp, and everything in the tail is LED. No halogens, no projectors, nothing of that sort. Even the rear or reversing light is an LED. Over here we have reverse parking sensors, which are only 2 in this case. Usually 4 of them would have been a very nice touch. Lower half of the rear bumper looks very nice because of this different color treatment. Coming to the boot of the car, for that I need to unlock the car actually, and the boot is unlocked. So this is around 350 liters, same from the beginning. Venue doesn't have very huge boot as such, but it's not a big car as such. For its size, this boot is adequate. So let me shut this boot, and this is the reverse parking camera of the car, if you can see that. Let me quickly get into the car. As you can see, dual tone interiors, which is a very nice touch again, and the seats as well are done in white color. Here black. That's kind of hot right now. It's very hot outside. So, and this is something which I wanted to talk about in this generation of Venue. Usually people have a lot of complaints on rear seat space of the Venue, but this is kind of scooped in like that, the front seat, so it adds a lot of knee space or knee room or whatever. And under thigh support as well is very nice. There's no space between my leg and the seat, so it's a very comfortable place as such. And we have rear AC vents, which the blow can be adjusted. This is definitely the air purifier of the car. And we have 2 Type-C 12-volt charging sockets over here, which is again a very nice touch. Let me quickly get into the driving seat of the car. We have a request sensor over this side. And coming to the door pad of the driver's side, same dual tone sort of finishing. This white color or very light colors tend to catch a lot of dirt as such. Traction control button, my favorite, and headlight leveler. This is the engine start stop button. 3 pedals, that's because it's a manual. And if you can see that is a vent from which the car draws the air inside and sends it to this purifier in order to purify the air. And if you don't want to do all that stuff, you can simply turn it on and off from this button. So once we get into the car, this is new. This is totally new. If you can see that the instrument cluster is totally new, and it is a lot inspired from BMWs. If you can see that. On the left side we have speedometer, and on the right side we have tachometer, both analog and digital. And over here we have a beautiful infotainment system, which is very sleek and very subtle and very beautiful. And on the center console we've got controls for the media or this infotainment system, below which We have AC controls. It's got single zone climate control AC with this beautiful display. Usually the previous gen Venue used to have display on these as well, but now it's only on this. This is the rear defogger and this is the front defogger. Giving dedicated buttons for defogger is a very nice touch. Usually in like cars a decade ago you used to get these, and in between they stopped making this stuff like that. Now again we have the defogger button, which is a very nice touch, and we have a wireless charging pad over here, this thing, and this is a USB charging socket, 12 volt and 120 watt charging socket, which means you can directly charge your laptop. Good thing Hyundai. Type C output, and you know, it's actually a feature loaded car. This particular car which I'm driving right now is a manual, and coming to the glove box of the car, it is adequate, not so big as such. Things are not very big in the Venue. They are kind of okay for a family. It's a family car, and coming to the rear view mirror, auto dimming inside it, SOS button, very nice touch. Sunglass holder again gone. That is something which I saw on the Verna first, and in this as well the sunglass holder is removed. Over here we have sunroof, which is not very big as such, but it's tinted. So guys, that is pretty much. Actually, let me turn the AC off, it's making a lot of noise. So that is pretty much about the interior and exterior of the all new Venue. In terms of engine, nothing much has changed, but I'll drive it and I'll tell you guys how different does it feel to drive this particular new Venue. I have actually reviewed the previous gen Venue a lot of times, like a lot of variants. I drove the automatic, I drove the manual, I drove the IMT as well. This is a petrol manual, so let me tell you guys how different does it feel from the previous gen Venue. So guys, this is Vikram again, and let me adjust the seat. I forgot to mention you people that this car has got 6-way electric adjust for the driver's seat, which is again a very nice touch at this price point. So let me quickly buckle up and let's get driving without any delay. Handbrake down into first gear. It's a petrol manual, so yeah, off we go. Initial punch is very nice actually. It's very torquey at the lower end of the rev range. This particular car has got 998cc inline 3-cylinder engine. Yes, it's a 3-cylinder engine, but it's not as jerky or as you know, vibrating as you would expect it to be. That's because it's refined. It's very refined. It's a petrol car after all, so it has to be refined, man. I am currently driving it in a private area. I'm not driving it on a proper national highway. That's why I don't think I can rip it open today, but this is enough to give us a proper opinion of this car. So it's got a 6-speed manual gearbox, this particular car. This car does have 998cc inline 3, and that produce 118 bhp of power. I think that is enough for our roads, and 172 Newton meters, and all that 172 Newton meter torque, which may not sound that high in words or on paper, but that comes down at low RPM. So this car feels torquey, and I'm currently in second gear, and I kind of throttle the car and it pulls ahead, it lunges ahead. That's very torquey, and it's a petrol car after all, so it's very refined. As I said earlier, it doesn't feel like a 3-cylinder whatsoever. And coming to the features of the car, it's got this beautiful digital infotainment, or sorry, instrument cluster, which looks very nice, very nice. It reminds me of some BMWs as such. The 5 Series or even 3 Series these days is getting this kind of cluster, so that's something which has to be discussed in totally a different video, so let me not talk about that right now. And the steering wheel doesn't feel like Hyundai completely. This kind of weighs up. This steering wheel is not very light like previous gen Hyundai cars, in which they used to feel like we are driving on air. Previous gen Hyundai cars, steering wheels are very light. That's a good thing as well in city, but this is what we need. They have to be light in low speeds, and they have to pick up some heft while we increase our speed. That gives you some feel. So this steering does have some feel which the previous gen Venue doesn't have for sure. So that's a very good point. And the torque, man, it does feel very torquey. I'm currently driving on a horrible patch just to judge its suspension, which is very nice. It's very plush. The ride is very nice. Usually Hyundai cars have very soft suspension and a very soft ride. That is the case with previous gen Venue as well, and this one as well has a very cushiony ride, which is again a very nice touch. But once you get picking up higher speeds, this thing adds some bounce to the car. That's because it's got a lot of ground clearance, 195 mm, and soft suspension. All those things come together and give you that bounciness when you get into higher speeds, like when you cross when you do triple digit speeds. Until then, in the city, this is the most comfortable car. But to its rivals, what does this car have? A lot of stuff, a lot of tech. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a lot of other things. Sunroof could have been a bit bigger, but it's not a very big car as such. It's a small car, so this sunroof is kind of enough for this car. We talked about engine, suspension done, gearbox. It's a very slick shifting gearbox. Clutches, damn light, man. It's a petrol car, and it's a Hyundai, so things have to be light, soft, and subtle. Clutches very light, gearbox is slick shifting. It's a very beautiful gearbox to use. It's a joy because it slots into gears like tuck tuck tuck. You get that satisfaction every moment you slot the car into a gear. And as you can see, it's a compact car, so you can just squeeze into, or you can just penetrate into spaces like this. But it appears big and it gives you that big car feel because you sit high. You can see the hood till the tip of the hood. You can totally see it. So it's a very nice car. Coming to the negatives, as I said earlier, the bounciness. In higher speeds, this car feels a bit bouncy. Apart from that, I didn't find any negative point in this car. So guys, this is my review of the all new Venue. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll come back to you guys with another amazing car in a very, very, very short time this time. So until then, this is Vikram signing off.